Bem-vindos a mais um episódio da série Construindo Escolas Promotoras de Saúde, uma conversa com o professor Didier Jourdan. Eu sou Fabiana Regiane da Costa, presidente da Comissão de Educação do Conselho Regional de Fonoaudiologia, 2ª Região. Estamos aqui com a fonoaudióloga colaboradora, Anelisa de Belotti Nogueira Batista, que nos apoia nesse projeto, e com o professor Didier Jourdan. Professor, em sua experiência de pesquisa e de trabalho com escolas em diferentes contextos, o que tem favorecido a construção de ambientes educacionais mais inclusivos e promotores de saúde? E quais barreiras ainda precisam ser enfrentadas para que essa inclusão se concretize no cotidiano das escolas, especialmente nessa interface entre educação e saúde?
So in your research and work with schools in different contexts, what factors have supported the development of more inclusive and health promotional educational environments? What barriers still need to be overcome for inclusion to become a reality in everyday school life, particularly in the relationship between education and health?
Thank you very much for this question that is at the very core of the mission of the UNESCO Chair and WHO Collaborating Center in Global Health and Education. Research in the field shows that 6 factors are influencing the capacity for a school to promote the health of the young people, but also of the adults, and to contribute to educational success for all. From a point of view of inclusion and equity, the two of them are directly connected. These 6 key determinants are: first, a school policy. You cannot contribute to more equitable and inclusive education without clearly defining that it is an objective, one of the mission of the school, and identifying what are the contribution of the different actors. And when it's about health promotion, the first component is clearly to have a school policy in relationship to health promotion that aims to finally identify what are the levers of change at the level of the school to contribute to the health and the academic success of the students. So, first block, a policy. Second block, this is the relationship between the school and the community. A school is not an island in the middle of the ocean. The school is rooted in the community, connected to the healthcare system, connected to the social system, in relationship, direct relationship to the family and all the different actors at the local level. I think the sports club, I think the associations. So the second pillar, the second block, the second key component is building strong relationship with the families and with the other professionals from an intersectoral perspective. And these professionals are especially the healthcare professionals and the social care professionals. This is one of the key blocks, and of course, among the professionals, the speech therapists have a key role. Remember that the speech therapists have 2 legs, like most humans. But what is specific with the 2 legs of the speech therapist is one of these legs is rooted in education, and the other leg is rooted in care. They are in position of mediation between health and education. And that's why they are precious, because we don't have so many professionals around the school who's just simply able to speak the language of the school and speak the language of the healthcare system. And then this kind of positioning of a mediator gives the speech therapist a key role in building this intersectoral collaboration that is absolutely needed around the schools to promote equity and inclusion. The third component is the physical environment of the school. We are talking about language. Do you think you can really learn language and speech in a very noisy environment? in places for which the temperature in summer is around 35 degrees in the classrooms. If the yard is just in concrete and that you cannot have physical activity, no. You want to promote the health of the people. You want to contribute to academic success. You need to have the best possible physical environment from the classroom to the schoolyard to the buildings. Third block. The fourth block is at the very core of the policy. This is what we call the school climate, the social and psychological environment of the school, the well-being of the schools. It means the relationship, the well-being of the different people, the children, the adolescents, the professionals. And this environment, this psychosocial environment, has, of course, a direct impact on violence, on well-being of young people, on harassment, and in general on the relationship and the capacity for the young people to learn. Then this fourth pillar, directly connected to the relationship but also to the mental health, is one of the key components of every successful school health promotion policy. And this is evidence-based. There's a lot of research in the field. The next one, the number 5, this is the school curriculum. Remember, we are talking about health nowadays, here and now, but also in a lifelong perspective all over the life of the people, and the place where the young people learn what they need to know about health for their entire life starts at school. We call that health literacy. Health literacy, it means having the basic knowledge and skills to take care of its own health and the health of the family and the community. Schools also has to teach the students another sector. There's health literacy, but also citizenship for health, because we have, and the speech therapist knows perfectly that, health is not only an individual matter. This is the environment of the people that can help to create health. And then when we are educating kids in the field of health, we need to think from what do they need to know to be healthy themselves, but also how they can contribute to make their community, their environment, their workplace health promoting. So it's about also teaching and learning. And the final block, the final pillar, this is the connection with the healthcare system. And again, for a second time, the speech therapists have a key role, but because when you can observe, you see that one of the students has difficulties in relationship to language, speech, learning, then you need to take care of her or of him, and then you need to have the strong connections. So 6 dimensions that are evidence-based: a school policy, relationship with the community, and including the families and the healthcare professionals, the physical environment, the school climate, teaching and learning, and relationship to the healthcare system for the students in need, and of course for students affected by chronic condition or handicap. It's all the more important to have a very close connection with the other sectors to ensure equity and inclusion in the school system. So I would say that the data are extremely clear. What is, of course, most difficult is the implementation of this policy, because every school is different. The context is different. The workforce has different skills and capacities. The social and economical environment is different. The rural schools and the urban schools have different kind of assets and constraints. And then what's probably more important than only focusing on what we know from research is to think about how we could support the school teams to develop their own strategy in relationship to the promotion of health and educational success of young people. So there's always this key, I would say, determinants that are linked to these 6 blocks, but also the way in which the school teams and the communities gonna reinterpret these pillars to make them concrete in the everyday life of the school, in the aim of contributing to a more inclusive and a more equitable education. Again, the speech therapists have a role here, because the activity of the speech therapist is based on something extremely important. This is the trust in the agency of the young people and of the patient in general, because we could also talk about or the public of the speech therapist. But you know, you cannot be a speech therapist if you don't strongly believe in the capacity of the people to overcome their difficulties, to move forward, if you don't trust in the agency, in the capacity of action of the people. And you know, since your question was about building pathways to inclusion, there's always a prerequisite for inclusion. This is the absolute conviction that all the students have the agency and have the capacity to succeed. And then, yes, based on that, you can develop different strategies. So, you know, we have this kind of a ethical framework that says, yes, kids can do it because they have agency, they can influence their academic success and the health. Second, we have 6 big principles that we know from research works. And then you have this last level, which is the way in which the school can create its own way of promoting the health of the children and the young people in their own context.
Thank you so much for these reflections and to make us be more aware of our role as this professional that is in education, is in health, and needs to make this bridge. I think that what Fonoaudiologia Educacional does in Brazil is already part of that, but we have much more to advance. I wouldn't say maybe advance, but much more to broaden of what we can do, and your reflections makes us think about that. Thank you so much once again.
Obrigada, professor Didier. A gente vai finalizar mais um episódio aqui, o nosso penúltimo episódio. Aguardem o último episódio e nos acompanhem.